Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video. This will be my last kind of meta of like, oh, what's gonna, ban list kind of talk for probably a while until the meta kind of settles down with all the new cards and the lists and stuff. But I did want to just do one more thing. I saw just a lot of people complain about how they think Gogeta Shenron will be the deck to beat, and people can be 100% right, and I don't know, and I don't think a lot of people know 100% what is going to be the right deck. They can make predictions, and you can be right and you can be wrong, and that's not what I'm trying to pick at, but I feel like a lot of people are just going off of feelings and less on evidence, just because there's not a lot of evidence right now, right? So I just kind of want to make a list of things to, one, kind of counter what we can do right now to counter Shenron Gogeta, if that becomes the deck to beat, and then also just kind of hopefully opening people's eyes to like what they can do to adapt or to kind of just a mindset that will be kind of healthier in the next couple weeks. Once again, depending on what the meta shakes down to. But yeah, I think this is all positive information. And yeah, I really want to get out there. So two more caveats. These numbers are this is like a top 5, but only because it's easier to talk about 5 points. They're not really in order, but they are just kind of 5 things I want to talk about. So you can agree with point number 5 over point number 2 a lot more. And 2, these are obviously my personal opinions. I could be completely wrong, and yeah, this could even be bad advice, but I want you guys to at least think that there are different ways to do it, and at the end of the day, if it's just Shenron Gogeta's best deck, then we have a problem. But I haven't seen the evidence, and I don't think anyone else has the evidence for that. And yeah, so without further ado, let's start with number 5. Number 5. Point number 5 is to just play the archetypes that didn't get hit. There are a couple of them that are kind of more fringe, or like, second tier decks, but like for example, there's ARG Connecticut second place winner Scott Dash. He played with this mono red pan deck, a kind of Zeno variant. So I think this deck is really powerful, and to be honest, it has counters to Shenron as it is anyways. But yeah, it's really there are things that didn't get hit that you can play for sure, like just older archetypes that are around. And I get it. If you weren't playing that archetype before, you probably don't like the archetype, and that's fine. This could just be bad advice on this one. But yeah, there are a bunch of archetypes that did not get hit. Even like what won Connecticut last week, there was kind of just more mono red Huragarn. You're able to you do have these trunks which you can switch into, I guess, Key Barrage trunks on the easy. That makes sense just because there's Mighty Mask and Quick Think and Go tanks, but like also Mighty Mask can find you on your one unyielding, so that's really good. But yeah, like this could be something that is a really strong deck that's not really hit by the new ban list. And there's some other mono red builds. There's also this is simply the first Shenron's layer Janemba deck that I found, so thank you, this random guy Uchiha Joel. Who is that guy? Anyways, there's like Mill Janemba too, like that's a really good archetype. It got probably hit a little bit with Legendary Flute, and if you're running Trunks in it, you can't. But really, I think this is still a solid archetype that will exist outside, and so if you have the cards for this, I think it's time for these decks to shine once again. So yeah, try these decks out. If you already have and you don't like them, skip to number 4. Number 4. Okay, number 4 is to play the archetypes that got nerfed anyways. Like, if you really are a diehard fan of these archetypes, you can make it work, I feel like. And for example, Cell, yes, they got nerfed in the sense that you can only run one of these growing evil lifeform Cell, but there's still ways around it. Initially a lot of people say, oh, you can just play Cell's Birth with the Cell Leader, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can get out on turn 3 or turn 2 even if you're crazy, but that's the thing. People don't like the Cell Leader as much, and I understand that. The other thing that someone else pointed to me, Joseph Ziegler. Okay, sorry, man. He also pointed out to save a hopeful future is a really good card for this too, because you just choose one green battle card with the energy cost 5 or less in your drop area and play it. So once again, you can play this with into Evolving Evil Lifeform Cell. The downside is it's an extra card you can't play until turn 4. The upside is that you can play leaders like Super 17 to use it, which will probably even be better because Super 17 has a chance of hitting Evolving Evil Lifeform Cell into your drop area anyways. So I think that's really, really good. You can even get you can use this card to get either of your Super 17s too in a deck like this. So this isn't exactly the deck that I previewed earlier this week, but it's pretty similar to it. And you can even get when you play this card. Dang, it's cool. Nice. I like the synergy. I think this card's good. So, but yeah, you can do that. And then also on the Storm variants, I've been seeing a lot of people. I don't have a deck with it right now. I'm probably going to make a Reform Storm deck next week. But even, let's see, the yellow Goku 15 drop, 2 drop, or 15k 2 drop. One of these two, this guy. So I've been seeing people just put this in straight in for Gohan. Goten. And the reason that it is think about it this way. So you attack with Gohan, and you're 10k, and you're trying to attack over an Awakened Leader. So you have to discard a card from your hand to get it up to 15k. And so if you look at the card economy for that, or the card advantage for that, you used 1 card, attacked, drew 1 card, and then you used 1 card. So you have a net of 0, right? You have no card advantage to get a 15k attacking your opponent's leader. This is what the Dependable Dynasty Son Goku is. It just doesn't have the cycle attached to it. So of course it is a little bit worse, but for the sense of an aggro Storm variant, it does almost identically the same thing. So I think it can still survive with that. I've seen a lot of people do that, and counteract people being like, "Oh, Storm's dead. I can live to turn 3." Not as easy as you think. I think there's still counterplay, and I think this card can help fit into those decks. So I think Storm, it's not dead, and maybe it's shifted into a weird mid-range version of the deck, but I think it's still something that should be on people's radar at the moment. So yeah, just make sure that the decks got nerfed too much that you can't play them, right? So yeah, and let's go to number 3. Number 3. All right, the number one thing I always hear about Gogeta is that it has no counters, and I think that is incorrect. I think the counters are a little bit more specific, or they're not as obvious as counters for other cards, but I think they really do exist. And here's a couple that I've picked out, and there's pretty much one for every color too, which is really nice out of this list. But yeah, let's talk about it. So first, Dende, probably one of the weaker ones for it, but if they're trying to objection up, you can just play Dende, and then they lose their advantage. They lost a card for that. And then if you have a way to loop Dende with the Shenron, 4-drop Shenron, then they literally can't get to turn 5, which means you probably win. So that's one thing that you can do. Second of all, just blockers in general, but Yajirobe is really good because it has revenge. So and let's talk about how Shenron Gogeta works. They wait till turn 5, they use all of their energy to play Gogeta, and then they try to attack for 9 damage, right? And so nowhere in that is there room for them to be able to get rid of cards on the field. So if you have Courageous Heart Yajirobe out, or any of the Deadly Defenders, which is Persistent Krillin, any of those out, they will have a tougher time getting around those because they're just trying to brute strength through all your cards, right? And so they are not able to do that with Gogeta. They don't have a lot of board clear presence. They could have cards already on the field, and that could be dangerous, but just in a sense of Gogeta by itself, they have a hard time dealing with it. Next up is Zeno, the Plain God. You can chain attack Zeno them. I know it's boring. I know people hate it. And I know it's a necessary evil, but it's counterplay. And so if you want to not lose to Shenron, then this is a way you can do it. It's not the only way, but it's something you can do if you are fine with that. And with Persistent Assault Krillin, so this one's a bit of a weaker one, but Persistent Assault Krillin, you can have Son Goku in hand. I know you have to randomize your hand. I know what's going on, but if you do get lucky, you have to get lucky, but if you stack your deck with cards that counter, you will get one of those cards in the top 3, and so that's how I justify it. I could be wrong, and it's not going to work every time, but I feel like it's something that you can aim towards. It's a card game. There's going to be randomness no matter what. So, but yeah, you can have Krillin blow up and have this Goku in their hand and pop it, and then you win, right? That's just another way. That's another win condition that you can draw out of your deck. So That's something I think is a counter. And then also for Seeing Hit and Dark Duo Dabura, I don't know how to say his name, but both these cards get you access to your opponent's hand. You get to discard cards from them. Also, oh, I know. Where is it? Where's Mecha Frieza? Mecha. I just remember another one. Which one is it? This one? Yeah, it's this one. Clan Terror. Play this card, your opponent reveals their hand, chooses one battle card among them, your opponent plays that card in their battle area in rest mode. Boom. Done. Done. You got it. You win. You pop one, what's Gogeta even say? We're learning today. When you play this card, you get 5 or more energy. Yeah, boom. Okay, done. You play this card out of their hand with Mecha Frieza, you win, because they can't, unless they have another one or whatever, you pop one of the cards they need to get for it, whatever. There are ways to access their hand and blow up cards and disrupt it, so it's not impossible to do that. So, and then lastly, Final Showdown Frieza. This card's a bit specific to the Clash of Fates leader, because it only works for that one, but this guy gets around Deflect because it's an auto skill, it's not a counter skill, or it's not a counter play skill. So it's pretty much lets you Cold Bloodlust Gogeta, which is really nice. It does cost an energy, and you can still have to worry about 3 normal attacks from a 40k or 35k with the Shenron boost. So, or is it? I forgot if Shenron's 10k or 5k. Whatever. It's just a big boy. You can get around it and probably win. So, and just in general, you have to realize that your opponent dropping Gogeta is trying to end the game, but they're probably just as nervous as you are. I've played a lot of Gogeta, and it's really intimidating to say, okay, I'm going to tap out, I'm going to try to win for game, and if I don't right here, I probably lose. And you can think like, oh, they can get a lot of negates, they've got some blockers up. There are outs to Gogeta. You don't win on the spot. It's powerful, don't get me wrong, and they can win, and you do win with it, but it's not just waiting till turn 5 and then you lose. It's definitely a lot of play and kind of even counting the odds of what are the percent chances of me winning by dropping Gogeta this turn. Will I have enough energy? Will I have enough power? Will they be lucky with negates? It's not just a one and done like I think a lot of people are saying it is. So yeah, with that, let's go to number 2. Number 2. Okay, number 2 is just to play with the new cards. I don't think it's I don't have a really better way to say it, but like a lot of people, there are at least 2 cards that I know of out of the box that can stop Shenron Gogeta from winning, and one of them is already that 5-drop Frieza we just talked about, and it's kind of segueing to this. But so this stops it because it's Cold Bloodlust that can't be deflected away. And then also the Bardock leader, Hope of Sands, he's really good because he can just stop attacks from happening of course you do have to crit a life, but if you're playing really defensively and you're not awakening yourself, you can just you can crit life and take it like that. So I think both these cards immediately are really good counters to it, primarily, but I think people don't even know, like we haven't even been playing real games with these decks yet and how they combat the meta. People have been testing with them the last couple of weeks, but now that the cards are out, I think we'll see a lot more experimentation, and I think there's a really good chance that people will be like, oh, these cards are actually pretty good, and maybe they are better than Shenron Gogeta. And so all this kind of leads up to my last point, which is number 1. My last point is just experiment and play the game and see what works, right? I know that's dumb, and I know that will probably be really unsatisfying for a lot of you to hear, but like the Celch has been dominant ever since it came out. Like it's been a tier 1 or 2 deck for over a year, which for people who don't play a lot of card games, that's a long time. Like there are like decks that only last like a format or just like a couple of sets, but it's been rocking pretty hard for like the last 6 sets. And I think it's okay for people for it to go. And part of the reason I think Bandai mentioned that it got fixed or banned or limited was because it's just been around a long time, and it's inhibiting design space. Not only Is it like, oh, we can't make cards because these already great cards will interact with them, but we can't make new cards without them being worse than the cell chain? Does that make sense? They want to make cards that people will want to play and buy, obviously, because they're a business, not because they're heartless or whatever, but because they want to sell cards, right? And they want to make cards that people will play. And that's not, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's bad that they want to sell cards people to play. And yeah, I totally understand that. So yeah, just please just try out the game, try out decks, try out old decks, try out new decks. Like, who knows what is like really good or was on the cusp of being a really good deck, but then the cell chain was around for a year and so it never, you know, materialized, right? And the same thing with Storm getting nerfed too. Like, that's been like the aggro deck to beat for 6 months, right? And so there are probably a bunch of other aggro decks or mid-range decks that can't survive because they've been, you know, stormed out of the meta for the last 6 months. So I think this just harmony of old cards being rotated out and new cards coming in should have just a big influx of a lot of new decks and new play styles that will develop. And yeah, I think it will be really great. And right now, Atlantic City is going on when, you know, as recording this, so we don't even know like what new Clash of Fate stuff people are playing with or stuff like that. So I think you should look at what people are playing. I'm an optimist when it comes to this kind of stuff, so I am holding my head high. But at the end of the day, yes, you know, Shenron Gogeta could be the best, and you can say, oh, I prophesized this weeks ago, but we'll never know for sure unless you try out and play the game. So anyways, thank you guys so much. Let me know what you guys think about this video. It's kind of rambling and ranty. I usually don't like making these, but I just want to put my 2 cents on the topic and move on to something else. It's been kind of brewing with me the last couple of days. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.